September 11th, 2025. So we have a packed agenda. We'll begin with an introduction of myself, and then we'll look at the background context. So we'll look about AI or artificial intelligence, especially agentic AI. And then we'll look at the IPCs, or that's what they're called, the incident management, problem management, the change management area. We would have a look at ITIL and ITSM and how this is the framework for or guidance for delivering these solutions. Then we would have incident, we'll have problem, we'll have change, and then we will do demos on them. Then we'll summarize and close up with final tips and then takeaway. So let's get to work. So this is a little bit about me. My name is Nnaemeka. I'm a platform architect. I have 20 plus years work experience delivering service management solutions. So I have an advanced degree in business. I'm a practitioner for project management. I am also a ServiceNow certified technical architect. I'm also an ITIL Foundation practitioner as well. So I have a bit of experience within service management, especially with improving processes, and then within ServiceNow, all the engagement layers, ITSM, HR, customer service, field service, you name it. So the background context, I wanted you to know one thing for sure. AI and autonomous workflows are actually going to be taking charge of 80% of customer service issues without any human intervention, right? This will improve 30% reduction in operational cost. And looking at incident, problem, and change, operational cost is really the key for companies. So Gartner lets us know that by 2029, AI agents will be everywhere. Deloitte also predicts that by 2025, right, 25% of enterprises will deploy AI solutions. And then by 2027, right, because we are already in 25, so everything you are doing, whether it's Microsoft Teams or whatever, there's AI there. Even in our meeting right now, right, there's AI there, taking meeting notes and using for different AI use cases. So it will be 50%, and it will continue to explode. Gartner also predicts by 2028, even for enterprise software solutions that are building, they will be built by the AI agents themselves. So 33% of that would happen. So, but they can't take what we do know, right? The human part of the human piece of the whole equation. So AI won't replace you, but the human that has AI skill will replace you. So please, please, please go and really, really soak up every content you can about artificial intelligence, whether it's generative artificial intelligence or even the agentic workflows, because it needs you, right? It needs you, your knowledge, your skill set. So regarding the incident, problem, and change area, organizations spend over $5,600 per minute for IT operations downtime. Just think about that. Just think about that. So this runs into millions. So PagerDuty lets us know that 1.9 million just for incidents, of which 700 of these, right, 700,000, which is 70%, is all non-value added. So because of non-automated processes for responding or resolving. Even CEOs lose their job at 31% from these incidents. 31% from this incident. Because it costs companies real money. A good example for one is you have Amazon Prime, for example. In your Amazon Prime, if, for example, the next day you don't get a delivery, your shipping is free. So they gave you the product for free. The company is losing money based on the service level agreements and things like that. So as at March 2015, 12 hours outage cost an Apple store, right? The Apple company, the company we love, 25 million. Canceled flights, we all know that, right? Whether weather or whatever, because Delta Airlines canceling 2,000 flights over $150 million. Amazon is spending $13.22 million per hour on downtime. So having a real understanding of that back office is really a big business. India and ServiceNow is humble enough to start from there. IT operations, the IT service, managing all of that. So imagine that it takes almost 24 hours, what we call the mean time to respond or resolve. So that's 1,499 minutes on average to restore a service or respond. So it's what exactly is ITIL and what exactly is ITSM? Because this is actually our understanding for how the incident or the problem or the change or any service management solution is really delivered. It's a foundation or guidance for how it is. So what is ITIL? Nnaemeka did justice to that. ITIL stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library. It's just talking about guidance or best practice for how services are delivered in an organization. So it's talking about improvements to service delivery. You're looking at managing the risk and costs and aligning that to the business objective. That's ITIL that enables organizations to actually deliver these outcomes to all their customer base or constituents, if you will. Service management is all about technology service delivery from start to finish or end to end. Do you hear? So it just talks about the workflow automation, how you create the service, how you deliver and how you deploy this service and support or manage or maintain it, if you will. So ITIL's evolution. IT version 1 started out from the British government, their Central Computing Agency. That was about 1986. And then within a 14-year window, they were able to evolve that and just provide consistency, right? Standardization across. And then in the 2000s, so about 6 years, we had version 2 with improvements talking about how it layers to other areas of the business. So maybe like SecOps, maybe operation centers and then security incidents and things like that. Then version 3, which was for the most part for the longest, so 2007 all the way to 2019, we talked about three-dimensional model, which is really talking about your people. Then you talk about the processes behind them, then the technology that underpins or underlies that technology. So look at 5 stages. It's talking about the thought, strategy. Then you talk about how you design, right? The different programs that you have for delivering on that strategy or business goal. Then transition, you got to do the work. You continue to iterate or evolve through it, whether you're using Agile, whether you're using project, different methodologies for how. Then operations, you hand it off for you to continue to get your customers, get the services to your customers' hands. Get your offerings to your customers' hand. And then they will provide you feedback or guidance, right? For you to continue to evolve or iterate through it, to continue to improve. From version 0 to version N, where N becomes non-value added, then you create a new service or a new product at that point. Then beginning from 2019, there was that customer evolution. Now we're talking about the whole system or systematic approach for delivering that service. So we looked at 4 models, and each model was now encompassing a few pieces. But the core of it, right, is looking at organization and people. So you definitely have relationship with your suppliers or supply chain, if you will. You have relationship with your technology or vendors within that management space. And you talk about that your different partnerships. And then you look at value stream. So that process is, you now look at how all of that is interlinked. Service value system is really at the heart of it. So talking about flexibility, talking about adaptability, and then talk about alignment and synergies. Value co-creation between all channel members. Value co-creation is key between all the channel members. So even if it's for nothing, if you're wanting to deliver any service, customer understanding, then you understand your data piece or your elements piece, then you understand all your stakeholders that are in there to help you support that value proposition. Support that value proposition. So the guiding principles are these. Your focus or emphasis is on value co-creation. You want to maximize that. You start from where you are, so you don't reinvent any wheel. Some of these resources are there, whether they are templates, whether it's like a service now create. But if not, you do have a library or a collection of all of your artifacts that or assets, if you will, that are helpful, which you need to utilize. Small steps, baby steps, attending sessions, getting the feedback you need, and then applying it. Because it's one thing to go attend sessions like this, but you need to apply the knowledge or the know-how. There's no dumb question. You're seeking to know. It reinforces what you know or adds to what you already have. And that's the beauty there. Collaboration, right? Communication is a catalyst for change. Here it will promote feasibility. And then you're looking at the transparency. You're able to ask questions, especially for clarity or for guidance. And then you look at the whole picture, or what is a big picture thinking. So the holistic view, 360 degrees view, if you will. So you're looking at the system approach to delivering. Keep it simple and practical. So you hear things like keep it simple and sweet, or keep it simple and short, or keep it short and simple, or simply stupid, whichever way. But what matters is you are not trying to over-engineer, because it's like information overload. You want to make sure it is relatable. Then you optimize. Look for ways to automate and optimize as best you can. Manual processes really delay. But if you automate it, you can be asleep, right? Right now, you might not attend, you have your AI agents there. Same stuff. Same stuff. Let's workflow it. Let's automate it. So these are the guiding principles that guide that service delivery. Organizations keep to it. Many large transformations are really honing in and utilizing. So to the crux of why we're here, incident management process, or you hear INC. INC is the prefix that you have within the tax record, within the ServiceNow system. What does it really entail? You're dealing with issues, outages, failures, and how to report them from when the customer experienced that, or when a system actually lets you know, right? Monitoring tool lets you know. But the whole essence is to make sure that you get the customer, restore them back to normal service. So the process of managing IT disruptions and restoring the service back based off of an agreed levels of service. Service level agreement means my agreement with my provider or my agreement with my customer for how long it will take from when they report an issue for me to resolve or get them back on their feet. So some of us would have worked with whether it's a help desk technician or called support for anything, whether it's even in your apartment, or whether you've been able to maybe call your cellular provider or any of the services, right? Maybe you're experiencing a challenge. Maybe you turn on the computer, you can't connect to the internet. That's a service disruption. So an incident will be raised to actually capture your frustration. And then this will be tied to the agreed levels of service, which would mean that you would always have service quality services that will be available to you whenever you need it. When you switch off the line, you should have line. So if there's no light, then that's what it is. So if you pick the phone, you're trying to dial, there should be the dialing tone. You should be able to turn the numbers in, and then once you punch the go with the green on the collar, it should connect you to someone on the next end of the line, or your loved one, if you will. So that's service quality and availability. The service level agreements will help, and you will see components there, how all of that ties to the incident process. And then sometimes some organizations actually provide collation. So what we call the major incident. So they would say priority 1 or priority 2. They now tie these together and use the major incident management capability to be able to deliver there. When you report the incident to when you get the service desk to resolve it, that's the scope of incident management. There are a few pieces underneath it or that are underlaid for all of this to work. So ITIL defines the incident management process as an unplanned interruption to a service, a reduction in the quality of the service, or an event. Maybe it is yet to impact you, but maybe I've been notified based on my monitoring or my alert systems. But the whole essence is it's going to result in a failure. So apparently what we're trying to do is address that failure so that it doesn't impact the customer's business. We've just seen that it could cost organizations, right, upward of north of $1 million or more, depending on the size or scale of the organization. From net 5,000, on average, $1,000 or 5,600, right, 9,000 per minute. Organizations strive to make profit, but if they are losing this, right, then it makes no sense. So the whole essence is to make sure that you have these processes documented using templates, using the incident process, and then you try to make sure that you have it all where all of your people, right, your help desk technicians, and all of the other support groups. So things like change management, things like problem management, problem analyzers, all of that, the help desk group, customer service group, depending on how each one is knowledgeable enough to be able to resolve. So the process is for you to identify and log the incident. You classify that incident and prioritize it. Then you assign the incident to the appropriate support group. So, for example, you want to escalate, especially where help, tier 1 or your service desk cannot resolve. They're going to escalate it. Maybe they escalate it to the network group, for example, or maybe they escalate to software group or hardware group, right? Different groups that provide provide support for different capabilities that you have for you to provide that value to your customer. You want to resolve this, and then you keep track. So you measure feedback from the customer, you send them surveys. Hey, has this been resolved, or how can you help us improve? You want to really gain insight from all of this. The first step is the incident identification. Then after that, you go to incident logging. So in logging really is all about categorization and prioritization. So sometimes also the help desk team really knows because they have background knowledge for what category it should be based on maybe that short description or based on interaction with the customer. Sometimes it might not even be an incident. Sometimes, like I said, user error, or maybe it's actually a request with service request management, where a good example would be maybe I'm having an issue with my printer. It's not printing out, or it's jamming. Maybe on speaking with me and then asking me to go review it, I find out that maybe I'm missing my printer ink, right? Or the toner, or it says ink is low, something like that. That's a service request. So all they will do is to document that and then move them to ordering the toner or ink on their behalf, or send them a link, acknowledgement article. This is a way to go order this ink, but that's a totally different thing. They just recognize that and close this out. that's that know-how or that knowledge that they will have for that to happen. Responding to it, once it's deemed to be an incident, then they're going to go ahead and diagnose it. Then if they cannot resolve it themselves, so when you see those troubleshooting steps that they provide to you, right, they say, have you done a hard reset? Maybe, for example, when you call in your MTN or you call in the T-Mobile or whatever, or they tell you, okay, I'll send you a patch. Can you click on this link? They'll run some diagnostic on your system. If that can resolve your issue, if you're still experiencing that same challenge and they escalate, they have maybe a field service technician come into your home or come take a look. Maybe it might have to do with updating your software system, or maybe it has to do with changing the device, the hardware altogether. All of that, the investigation and that, so that escalated, the escalation team is going to handle all of that. Then they'll be keeping you abreast via communications, so notification or emails that you will receive, letting you know, and then the resolution and recovery will be provided. And then once everything has been restored back to normalcy, then the closure would happen. They will document that along the way using that incident management system or incident management process. So the first step is the identification. So you're reporting this through omni channels, so different channels, whether via email, whether via SMS, via phone call. Sometimes you could do a chat, but different ways. Meet the customer where they are. So it's not all the time that the service desk handles it immediately. The customer can self-serve, get to report the issue. So the second part is the log in the details. So here the service desk has deemed that this is an incident. Then they are going to definitely contact you. You would see how maybe, for example, they have access to the backend or the now experience view. They create the incident, but they don't have as much detail or know-how. Or maybe sometimes they create it in the service portal experience. And in that case, as a guest user or someone without the platform knowledge or role, all they are doing is they're putting their name and putting a short description, and they are done using a record producer. They are able to do that. But now the service desk would now go ahead and, as the tickets are actually received, they go ahead and contact you to get more details, right? They go in and get their people skills in order or going. So they start to inquire, ask you questions, or listen to fill your pause, get your response, see how you need it or how soon you need it or how it's disrupting the business. So the configuration item or the asset, how you are contacting that information would have been there. Then they categorize and prioritize it accordingly based on their process. And then once that's done, they can now go ahead and assign it. So in some cases, the service desk takes a leadership role in there. If not, like we talked about, we escalate it to others. Prioritization is really important. It's based on the service level agreement. And you would see, once we get into the demo now, how all of this actually comes together in the incident. And then from when it's received or inception to when it's closed down. So the response and revolution we talked about has 5 steps. Initial diagnosis, especially like we talk about when the service desk escalates this, or they're handling it through, and then they are able to actually provide that prognosis, so resolve the issue. So if they're escalating, yes, they will look at the other support systems who are certified to resolve, and then they will communicate along the way with the customer for that resolution to be accepted by the customer, and then eventual closure. So resolve is one stage, and there's actually a timeline. The companies could say, okay, if you don't respond back within 3 days, or if you don't respond back within 5 days, for you to eventually close out that incident. So you cannot reopen it. You have to create a new incident for you to actually resolve. So every company has how they can monitor and manage that. So here we're supposed to go ahead and pull out the a demo for incidents, so give me a minute here. I think I do have my, okay, I think I do. Just give me 1 second. I have the incident open really quickly. All right. Okay. Let's sign in. Just a minute. Okay. Takes a couple of minutes. It should be in there. I think it should be up already. It's waking it up. So just a couple of minutes. Should be here. So while we're waiting on this, I'm just gonna, open this up really quickly on the documentation one. So I think it was, let's see, IT service. So while we wait for this to pick up here, this is the whole list of IT service applications. Like we talk about our products. Yeah, the IT service management is a suite, but there are a lot of applications that make those up. So whether you're looking at machine learning, for example, whether you're looking at asset management, for example, whether you're looking at change management, for example, or benchmarking, quite a number of applications, even DevOps change, digital product, employee center, incident communication, which is that major incident management. Then the chatbot, because everyone has a cell phone, so the chat experience or mobile experience. Then you talk about predictive intelligence, just to name a few. It's a lot of applications that make up that suite. So incident management, problem management, change management is just a handful. Right? It's just a handful. So a couple of minutes, so it's just a handful. So, and each one of them solves for a different use case. Some of them actually add-ons, so you already must have, maybe, for example, ITSM, you need to have incident problem change already, maybe before you put in things like predictive intelligence or the tax intelligence solution there, or the virtual agent, for example, because that way you're looking at adding the chatbot conversations or adding predictive automatic routing of the incidents to the appropriate resolving group or resolver group, if you will. But for the most part, that's really at the heart or the core of it. That's really at the heart or core of it. This is taking a little bit. I think we would do well to. So we'll jump to problem management. By the time we come through on problems management, we'll see how all of that ties together with incidents. So I'll have us jump to problem management, what it is, and then that way we would be able to meet up with time. So problem management, what exactly is that? So problem management talks about issue facing multiple people. So imagine that I am complaining about internet issues. You are complaining about the same internet issues. Tosin is complaining about that, maybe Nnaemeka as well, or all of us even just logged in here now are having the same issues. Maybe you're not able to hear me, or you're not even able to see the screen. I have a larger audience. So that's what problem management is all about. It's not just an incident, it's a one-off, or you hear one Z. Now, it's now happening to our ServiceNow African user group, or maybe it's happening now to a particular group of users, maybe like an area, if you will. Then it needs to go above and beyond what you would use the incident management to resolve it. you need to do what we call the root cause analysis. We need to find out what exactly is the underlying fault. And then now you do have different models there. Model like you will what we call, there's a general model for problem management. Then we have a general attacks that you're going to assign to those escalation groups, whether it's network or hardware or whichever, to resolve that. And then you see the role. You see the role required for you to actually go through this, and we'll go through submitting this. And then you will see how problem management ties to what we call the known error record. So for example, once the problem has been identified and been confirmed by the problem manager or problem group, then they will document what we call the known error record. Then we'll provide you a temporary fix, a workaround. So which is really providing a knowledge-based article for steps, right? Steps for resolving. They provide you that. And then that way, in some cases, when they go through the root cause analysis, they find out maybe they have to change a system. Maybe you're replacing your switch or replacing a router or whatever. But all of that will be documented using a problem management record, if you will. The prefix is PRB for problem, especially within the ServiceNow system. So ServiceNow problem management is really focused on identifying the cause of your problem, especially if it's causing any error into your IT infrastructure. You want to make sure that you don't have reoccurrence of the same issue. So you're managing the life cycle of the problem. You want to prevent reoccurrence of these problems. You want to try as much as you can, which is almost, like I said, take it with a pinch of salt to eliminate reoccurrence. But these are technology systems. Even human beings, they fail. Talk more. These are computer systems. So take it with a pinch of salt. You always have to try as much as possible to minimize, right? Minimize it. You can't totally eliminate it. You can't totally eliminate it. So the problem management processes, you're resolving the underlying incidents or issues that are causing that failure. You want to try as much as you can to document, assumptions, what ifs, make sure that all of that is detailed there. And then once they are identified as problems, you want to make sure you have that robust known error record, so that way you can make sure that, rather than creating more incidents, on the same issues, you have one as a primary. You can add children to it, and those others you can close them out, so that way you don't bug the system, and then you're thinking that it's all over the roof. Whereas you already nipped it to the bud. You provide them that solution, and you just keep closing, and then just have one that is open to keep charge of that. So make sure that you have that your known error there. You have the knowledge base, you have the knowledge owning group, you have the required workflow for making sure that those approved knowledge known error records or knowledge articles get to be displayed to your support teams or like your service desk, so that they too are not indiscriminately creating those tickets, if you will. So yeah, we have the problem demo here now. So we are making progress. Let's go ahead and we would go start building. Each one saw the new look of the developer landing page. So you can manage your instance here now, and everything is all has a new refresh. So you just start building, and then it should take you into the ServiceNow instance. Just give me 1 second, try another. Just give me 1 second. I think I would do this. I'll do incognito. I think I do have. Okay, I think I'll do that one instead. Okay, next couple of minutes, it should be there. I think this one should be on here. Start building it. I think the other one I don't have my phone available. I would needed to go change my authentication, go to my email. But just so that it doesn't take time. So here you are in the instance. If you type incident, as you're typing, it's filtering through to everywhere that incident, of course, you would see self-service. But also I'll duplicate this. I hope you can see my screen okay.
Yeah, can you put it on full screen?
Okay, sure. All right. Thank you. So I'm gonna go here and change the URL to have service portal. I can do that too here on the filter. I can type service portal also. I can do that as well, service portal, and it should take me to the portal home as well. There are different ways to go there too. Just be mindful there. It's helpful for you to know. You just append, that suffix, and then it should get you there. Just in case. So here now, you could report an incident. You don't necessarily have to log in, right? An end user, anyone can just come in there and use that to report that incident. All you need is, how soon you need it. And then you just, so incident demo. And then you submit. So the beauty is you can see search capability. Search result based on search profile. So based on whatever text I type in, it will search for knowledge-based articles to help me resolve self-service without necessarily having to report this. But we're going to go ahead and submit. So it keeps me aware, gives me the incident number for me to know. And then now at the back end, if you were to come in there under self-service and you take a look, right, and you see incidents, for example, you would see that ticket that was just created. So here now, you can see the number, right, INC, that prefix before the other integer text or number text characters. It tells me who called in, and it shows me the short description. But a service desk agent is going to go to incident under service desk. So if you type in there, we're still going to take a look at the incident application in itself. So under the service desk, you will see incident as well. So I can make this a favorite just so that we would see all the different areas. And then we will see the incident application in itself, which we're going to also make a favorite so that we'll take a look. So the service desk agent is going to go in here to be able to see the incidents, for example, in here. But you can see that he sees more than the end user because now he's able to come again and tell me, right? He can reach out to the system administrator. Here he can go ahead, take a look, see whether my phone number is here, or take a look, say my email, right? For example, he's going to reach out to me. The channel is there, right? Self-service. It can be chat, it can be via email, it can be via phone, whichever way, or walk-up experience or Genius Bar, if you will. Omni-channel. So, but he's able to get more details there. So, for example, now with the search one, you can see knowledge articles that we talked about that, that meets that need if there's none. Then maybe they call in and then speak to them. You now would be able to get maybe the categories. So, for example, maybe the service desk manager is going to put that there, service desk manager. He's going to put that there to his team. Maybe he's going to assign it to someone within his team to work on it, who keeps the customer abreast. right? It's still under new, right? But as it progresses along or gets more populated with details in here, the state changes, especially once the assigned to is filled out. All of these can be automated. Customers can ask for a ton of requirements. What matters is for you to capture these details. Reporting the issue is incident. First port of call. So, for example, the customer says, I'm having a problem with my laptop or whatever. You pick any laptop there, just for an example there. So maybe you pick the laptop, and then maybe they tell you, okay, it has to do with maybe email, for example. Now you can see, based on the selection, right, that automation is there. Now every inquiry that goes to email goes to Fred. You can set that there, the automation. You can set those there. There's assignment rules, assignment lookups, different ways. There's business rules, there are different ways. There's workflows. So in here, all you're needing to do is to update the detail. Once you save it, the state will change. Oh no, service desk. Fred is now a member of the service desk. So let's go ahead and put antivirus. Take out Fred here and then save that there. All right. So, but you can see it's in progress now. So a member of that service desk would be assigned, let's say Beth, for example. Now Beth is going to be able to communicate with the customer. Watch list. So the customer would be here. If the customer already doesn't have their email, you put the customer's email here, communicate to that customer. But if not, the customer is already in your system, you search for them here in the list. So in this case, for example, system admin, all right, you can get them there. If not, you can click on this icon here to add whoever is logged in. Work notes is internal users, people that may be the part of the service desk, other users within that service desk, for example. You can go in there and open that. Maybe you want to put Bet, so you can just look for Bet, for example. Here you put Bet there. Maybe you want to put SD. You put those there, right? Internal users. Internal users. Additional comment is to the customer. Okay, got your request. And seeking to resolve. Reach the customer. All right, and that's all. Additional comments would be reached out to the customer. They will send that via an email notification. The customer will receive that. And then they will communicate. They communicate that message. So already you have related incidents, right? You can see, you can have an incident be a parent, so you can have a child incident be created. You can associate this record to problems. You can associate to a change as well. You can. Right now we are in priority, right? So the urgency is 2, right? The urgency and the impact drive the priorities. So this would tie to the SLA or service level agreement. It will be attached there. So because we sent an email to the customer, you can see this one, right? It says 8 hours, and we did that in minutes, 6 minutes. Business elapsed time. Now we have 4 days to be able to respond. That's because this is the priority 4. Basically, that's really what it is. The impact and urgency combination drive what goes here. And if you take a look in the documentation, you would see what we call the matrix, impact and urgency matrix, to drive that. Customers can come and then override that the matrix for 5. They don't use it. Because the different ones that you have will drive the response time. How quickly your agents will work to resolve it or provide the customer that feedback. The affected service will capture that detail there or on the configuration. Initially, they were unassigned, right? The help desk manager goes there to assign it to service desk team and then assign it to one of the service desk agents. There's a resolution tab. Here you can see the resolution codes that we have. And then you can see the resolution notes where you provide that detail. But also, like we talked about before, you can create a copy of the incident, right? Maybe you want to create incidents that share the same properties, many of which. You can create an outage from here. You can create a problem as well. You can create a service request. You can create a work order. All depends on the different applications that you have installed within your system. But you can see you can create normal change, standard change, emergency state, which we're about to come to. You can also promote it to a major or major incident, like we talk about, for priorities 1 or 2. So we do have a priority B, moderate, it will be different. So let's say we have priority 2, for example, priority high. The SLA will be different. You can go take a look. We can put that in there. SLA check. You can see it there. So cancel that and then we'll start a new one. This has been canceled, right? No, priority 2, you need to resolve within 8 hours. There is actually an application strictly for that, which we'll take a look in a minute. But ideally, this is the incident management application in itself. You can see create new is the first model underneath that. That takes you to a form if you're filling it out from the back end. For you to be able to see any of these applications, for example, for you to see any of these applications, whether it's a service desk one or each one, you need to have an appropriate role. So for example, service desk, you need to be an internal user to see this back end. If you want to go see the service desk, for example, yeah, you must have an IT role to fulfill that role, right? To get access or gain access here. You need to have a fulfiller role or in the incident application in itself, the same way, you must have the IT role or an incident read role. If you do not have that, you cannot create or see this application. Assigned to me is another model underneath the application incident, which is really underneath it is really a table, incident table. Assigned to you, whoever is logged in, this is just a filter on this table, on this incident table application. That's really what it is. If you take a look at the bottom, you would see those there too. The models underneath that application. Consider different filters. Shows you list of records. You're trying to filter it for what you need. And it also shows you in some cases where you need to have the prerequisite role for you to see those there too. The ones without the role is there. The ones that you need to have a role for is there. You must, like, if for a major incident, you need to have major incident manager role, not or communications manager. FYI. So initially there will be opened unassigned, like when you submitted it from the, whether it's self-service or whether it's from the service portal. The manager assigns it with service desk, he puts it to his team or whatever, and then starts to make sure those who categorize, prioritize, do what's needed. As they get to communicate, the SLA will be attached as they go ahead. And then they resolve once they have the information. Sometimes they attach a knowledge article to it, get the customer on their way, everything is, rosy. We're going to resolve that, that number 2-1. Let's say we go create one really fast. Let's say we do another one. Let's say they called phone. Maybe this is software demo. Submit. Should open the list. Okay, so let's open the list. We'll open the list, incident list. So all would show me the filter for unassigned. The assigned to is empty. Open is all the active incidents that you have, regardless of the state. Resolved will show me all that the state is resolved. You can see the filters there. That breadcrumb shows me. An overview will show me the map of this process area, its utilization. So I can say how many people submitted a ticket, how many people have open incident, how long is the last SLA one. You would see it here. It will show me how my process is working. Which is really a dashboard of different reports being aggregated. Sometimes the incident, like we talk about major incident, maybe the incident there that we're working on, I'll open that really quickly. The customer maybe would say, maybe this thing is happening to several people. A lot of people are reporting about it. The same thing. Okay, let's say, these two now are kind of like related or associated. That's enough for us to do that. We can put those as child incidents, for example. We can go there and associate them. And now, that way, we can call that a problem, if you will. And then now you're able to escalate it to create a problem from it. You can do that. It will copy the short description and a few other fields. These are settings that can be created. You would see first reported, the sys of that record will be populated over. Then all of that will be associated at the bottom there. And you can see the state will change to on hold because now a problem ticket is supposed to be worked on from it. That's the key here. That's the key. This is a list of the incident. You can see it on hold. It's awaiting its problem. It's awaiting the problem. You could have awaiting change or awaiting vendor. You can see awaiting information from the caller. Then yes, additional comments will be required. So all of this, it's just to help to automate just the back office that you have to make sure your customers are kept aware, and then you're providing them the resolution, timely information. Sometimes the major incidents, they're all isolated in one. For example, you can create a major incident. You can promote it to a major incident, or you can create a major incident for that. Maybe priority 1, priority 2. You associate them. You have a major incident manager who will be responsible for walking it through from when it's accepted and then communicating to all of the groups. You can do that too. You can do that too. So the same way we have them in the incident one on the list, the same way you can see the major incidents part of that incident management one or incident communication. Can create a major incident like you would creating a new one. But the only thing is it has to be priority 1 or 2 for it to be a major incident. It has to be accepted by the major incident manager. That is a major incident. So if not, when you promote it, it becomes a candidate. It needs to be accepted first. So, for example, like you were looking at that one, I believe. No, there's a problem one. Okay, let's say we use this one. Create a major incident. Candidate, promote it. proposed to major incident in demo. So now that that's done, what's going to happen is if you go to the candidates list, you would see that one would show. Takes a couple of minutes, it should be there. But if not, we can look at the major incident. Let's look at candidates. Okay, let's use major incident. Okay, it's still on hold. Okay, let's change this. I'll take away this. Just 1 minute, I'll save it. Yeah, this is a major issue. This one. Oh, you know what? Let me just create the major incident from here. Let's live demo. Let's see. So I don't maybe it's not letting me do that. So the candidates, you should have that on the candidate one. And then here they're going to go ahead and accept it as a major incident. So that way, the major incident manager is going to go ahead and accept it. You can see there's a major incident management desk. So you can see the business impact or probability. You can see the SLA will be attached there. Priorities, one priority. So they must respond between 15 minutes or they must resolve it within 1 hour. It starts to run. They have to communicate. There's actually a workbench too that you can use to resolve this, keeping your communication out to your customers too. Communicate about what is being done, what is not. The communication, you can see different communication that will be sent out. You can promote it there to the major incident. Name confirmed. Right. That's all it is. You can always, like we talk about, go back and look at it in the list or in the form. You can go take a look. You also go there, you would see it, you can see whether you want to demote it or you want to accept it. It's all there. This is additional actions on your action. It's all provided. You can see the state is accepted. Major incident. Major incident manager, the major incident commander, they are responsible for it. They need to have the major incident role. If not, no. Just like you have for incident, you have all of these. You have incident administration where you have incident properties. Like you have there for the trigger rules, for example, for incident, you can look at the incident. We have properties. These are whether you want to have auto closure automatically for incident. You can see whether you want to have how long it's going to take. A lot of times companies could have 7 days, some could have 10 days, some could have 5 days. From when I have an incident, it's been in a resolved state, it now would automatically close where they cannot reopen it. They have to create a totally brand new incident. The customers can ask you that. So these are, settings that can be configured. So that's configurations that need to be set up. Incident opening properties or copying incidents, child incidents, you can, associate them. They're all here. These are all fields that are there. So you see them, there's a column separated. They're just fields on that form. I just felt on the phone. You control this thing based on the customer's ask. There's also automated test framework. So some sample stories, some sample tests and test steps. All of these are tied together. All of these are tied together. So ServiceNow has done the work. A quick start test, for example, there are over 17. So you must look for only the one that, test that you're building that will be unique to your own business. ServiceNow has done this, gotten most of the use cases covered. Stuff is a beast. You just need to know and how to utilize it. Creating normal change, creating self-service. You just need to know. Creating a copy of an incident. Even communication or major incident properties. You can go take a look. Promoting to candidates, who's responsible. Post-incident review, PIRs. How to export them, PDF document. Your major incident management team, the CSID for that group. Controls. Also for major incident, there's automated testing too as well. So if you go there, take a look, it covers it, 16 of them, major incidents. How to reject, how to propose, what have you not, they're there. Incident, the same way we talk about problem is the same way as well. Or problems. Just like you saw for incident, problem is the same, it's its own table. Creating new is, like we talk about, you can come in here and create a problem. You can, create a problem from an already existing incident. It's here. If you're creating it from here, definitely it means that maybe the service desk, right? Someone that has that problem role is able to do that. So if you go take a look, it's its own application. You must have ITIL, you must have the problem tax analyst role or the problem read role. If you don't have that, you cannot. So ITIL users, people that have access to this, the Now Experience platform, yes. Assigned to me, whoever is logged in, if you're a fulfiller, you can have problems assigned to you. So if you have the IT role or if you have the problem tax role, roles can be assigned to you. Maybe you have to go confirm, is it a problem or not? Is it happening to multiple people or not? Whatever it is. So open would be like, if we take a look at the one that we created before from that incident one, they will be there. PRB, the prefix. Prefix. There is a chevron letting you know the process flow. So from the problem goes through access, it goes through root cause analysis, which we'll see now. For you to fill this out, you click here, it will show you what you need. You must have an assigned to that validates. In the problem properties, you can verify it too. A problem analyst group or problem manager. If they're not there, then you cannot. So here, the problem properties, how you transition the states. So here. So here. Problem created from incident, the properties that need to be carried over. So here. You just put whatever you need here, whatever field that it is that needs to be carried over, you just put that there. You put the name, not the label. Label is what the system we see outside, but the system knows it to be its name, its database name of whatever field you're looking for. So it's for us to know. So looking at the problem, for example, you have to put the problem role. You must have one of these roles, right? So the problem administrator, the problem manager, or problem coordinator, or so problem manager will do. So we can go ahead and put analysis. You can see workaround, right? You can see cause notes of this problem. You can see the affected CI, and then how many incidents are there, because even like the parent was, the child will be, right? The incident, who's the reporter one, it will be there. Now they can access it. The problem manager is seeing all the thing, is put whatever information, he confirms that it's a problem. So now that it's a problem, if you go all the way, right, you would see attached knowledge, you would see problem tags. In here now, you're able to get a root cause analysis tax or a general tax. Root cause, the first things first. We want to find out based on that item there. So we want to take a look. Associatives, look at the problem record there. And then here now, for example, they must have those, those rows. So for example, I say, Sisa, go figure this out. They can start to work on this. They can add the attachment for that knowledge article we're talking about, right? It's confirmed to be a problem now. That problem, right? It's confirmed. It's confirmed. Like we talk about, it's confirmed. If you so that information there, they're working through it, whatever. There's an analysis one. Maybe I started work on this one. Maybe want to start work on it. Maybe I want to put some closer information, say a hardware issue, or maybe it's a software issue. I need the update. All right. So I complete the task there. Sometimes it could be one where I need to actually work with another team, that information to have them resolve it. So now that we have that there, you can always open that back. You can see also that you can reassess it. Maybe let's say you close it in error, you can open it back. But click on open. And then there you would see at the very end, you would see where, as part of that problem tax, right? That you're going to figure it out, underneath that. You can, for example, maybe you have to escalate it. And then you do the general task. Maybe you want to go ahead and have maybe software group help you with resolving this. Maybe you want that. Maybe you take it to the software group or hardware group or whatever, whichever group it is. Maybe you want this software group to work on it. Software escalation. Just as an FYI. Must have someone, they must have the role, yeah, to be able to do that. So what I would do is I can take it out. I can put a problem system administrator first, and then access it first, and then start the work, and then work and close it. And update, and that's the problem information for the incident, all of them. Sometimes it could involve the change, maybe. Then you push out the change. But in there also, you could create that knowledge article, for example, that we talk about the knowledge article that needs to show or communicated to the customer. Sure, while you're at it, you could do that. It's all there at the bottom there, right? You could create a new one, or you could edit from an existing one. It's here. Maybe standard FAQ, or maybe need to know whatever. You put that there. Software issue, maybe IT knowledge. If you just go ahead and save it and submit, publish it. Source task is that. Make sure it's available. The knowledge the knowledge based on that problem tax one. Like I said, the communication, you're letting the customer know that this is what it is. This is what they get. That's the approval that needs to be approved for it to be available and useful to that customer. All right, that's all it is. Just to make sure, like I said, it's all tied there in that system for like just the process first. Customer will be communicated, the fix will be communicated to the customer. And then what's going to happen is the cause note or whatever information will be shared. The fixed information will be shared. Software needs update, that's blah, blah, blah. So that information will be sent out in that incident, for example. If you go to that incident later, it will be there. That information will be communicated via additional, you would see it there. Was on hold, branch incident failed, whatever information. They will go with your request and secretary result. Information will be there. So all of that information will be provided for the most part. So the information will be communicated to the users. You can also see, the workaround, the cost notes, whatever information, communicate the fix. Fix communicate. Resolve. Completed. The problem process. Sometimes it could be tied to the change. Then a change will be there created from here. We will talk about change in a minute. But initial ongoing, there would not be additional actions a lot. But once it's been saved one time, you would see a lot of additional actions there, like communicate fix, create a normal change, or create a standard change, or create an emergency change. All of this, you can add it to a visual tax board. Maybe you want to track it there, using the visual tax interface, if you will. But all of these information would be communicated. You would see, when that was sent, when this was sent by whom, work notes. Could create a change from there like this. You could create another change from there on that one up top. The different ways, the different types of changes that we have. But as that problem is resolved, now that problem is resolved, then that incident also can be, because this has been closed, fix has been applied, right? If you had to go back to that incident, you can see it's resolved as well, right? Information is resolved because that information was there, it was on hold, resolved by the problem. Automation, you don't necessarily have to do that. System is already preset. The underlying problem was the reason putting it on hold, or the things the customers can ask for. You can associate as many problems or assist. You can create shared incidents. You can see the related list. You see the problem there associated automatically. Even for parent and child, for incidents, if you close the parent, the child is closed down. Same way, straight on. Straight on. Because that's the master or primary on there. Just like you have for incidents, we have the same thing for problems as well. Create new, because these are all of these, the tax table is their base table. To go take a look. If you go take a look on there, on any particular application that we have, you go take a look. The ITSM applications that we have, if you go take a look, you go there, take a look at the table. You can also take a look at all the configurations as well. But it's going to pull it up in 1 minute, and then you would see changes. It's kind of like similar. It's like computers. It's also taking its own jolly good time to do the configuration. That's all it is. They all extend the tax table. That's the base class, the base table on this system. Tax records, so that you can track it, you can repeat it. You can assign it to assignment group, assign it to individuals, part of that support group. Go take a look, incident as well. Same thing, incident. Go take a look on the incident table as well. Take a look. You could take a look on there. Different ways, same outcome. He'll extend that. This is label, this is what we know, but this is what the system knows. So even if you're writing a logic or anything, this must be there. Tax table is the parent class or base class for most of them. Just like you did, change is the same, but this is change. Create new, it shows you the different models of change. But you can see create new, you can see open, you can see close, you can see assign. But change has a number of children here too. So just as an FYI. So change management, CHG, that is the prefix. So there are different types of change. You would see the roles required for the change. You would see the change advisory board, what exactly a change is. And there are different workflows for changes too as well. There are some properties that are there, like we have risk conditions, we have change conditions, change properties for standard change, which we'll take a look in a minute, which is repeatable changes that happen. Something like your password reset, there's a password reset policy that drives that. But because it's changes that actually are applied within a system. There's blackout and then there's maintenance also for scheduling the change. Because sometimes you have a freeze where you're not able to actually get anything going into your system. So an issue that needs to be resolved, like a bug fix or your replacement to your hardware or your software or infrastructure, that's what the request for change is really raised to resolve. So sometimes it could be like we talk about remediating a problem, right? Maybe that root cause has identified that. Now we sent it to escalation. Escalation is that network team. They need to replace a network gear, or maybe they need to replace a switch or router, whatever it is. And they submit a request for change. Just documenting to make sure that you have all the required information that's needed to resolve. So ServiceNow provides you the change management process. It's just talking about a controlled approach, right, to manage the life cycle, right, from when it's created all the way to when you get the solution deployed or resolving that underlying problem or whatever issue you have. ITIL has the different types of changes or models of change, if you will. So there is a standard change, there is an emergency change, and there is a normal change. Normal change, many of us will be part of. But the standard one we already know, maybe password reset, maybe you're replacing your printer ink, maybe, and there is something that maybe needs to be actually set up maybe by someone within your service, or it's technical to do, maybe, or it's a general purpose one where it's within maybe a printing office or printing room or something, if you will. So the type of change or model of change would invoke the process workflow that will happen. We're going to take a look at when we get into the demo. There is a standard change. Standard change is a pre-authorized change. This change is low risk. So whether I'm there, whether you're there, anybody can do it because you have reset instructions. It's common. So it's not something that you need to think. No, it's just like when you go to the have you turned off your phone? Have you done a hard reset? They walk you through some series of steps to ensure that they've covered the bases first before we start to escalate or move further to really deep dive. The success rate is almost as good as the Sigma rate, right? 96.9. As good as that. So it's pre-approved. It has a streamlined process. The authorization has been provided before by the change authority or change advisory board. So all of these can be defined in templates. I could talk about repeatable stuff, templates. You have them, you utilize them all the time. So it will be second nature. So it's going to be available in your catalog because it's efficient like that. Sometimes you set up like proposals for you to update. Maybe if any process has changed within or underlying it, then you send a new proposal, to try to maybe retire one and change one, right? Because the essence is to ensure that you keep up to date as possible based on feedback you get. Emergency change is one that if you don't do it, your company can go out of business. Maybe imagine, for example, you notice that there is a failure that is actually showing up customers' personal identification numbers or PIIs or PHIs, then it needs to be resolved right now. Because if not, you have regulatory fines, or you even have your customers to be, because you have to communicate to that customer that, hey, we have a breach or data breach or whatever. So emergency change helps to resolve that. So you want to make sure that what will happen is you deploy it, then you go back to them and say, we experienced this, because you're documenting all the way using the change record. You're going to say, this is what happened, this was the fix we did, this is the resolution, it's all working, then they approve it. But they need to keep in the know. So a good example is one like, if you have a medical emergency, right? Saving life is what's important. The pharmacy has to treat you, and then it can call your doctor's office and get the prescription. But it needs to make sure you're alive. Just like when you have an accident, the hospital is obliged, obligated to make sure they save you first, then they can talk about their bill later. Yes, in some areas, they might not do that. They would say, okay, we need a deposit, or they start to drag or snag. But ideally, as part of the ethos, they're supposed to make sure and they save you out first. It's just like, someone that's, getting delivery or whatever. First of all, you save the mother and child. Before you go and talk about getting getting paid, or how your money will be paid, whether it be insurance or their self-pay. Same way. So the authority is going to happen, but it's going to happen after the fact. Then we have the normal change, which is it's our regular change. It is not a standard or emergency, but the whole idea is it's going to go through its prescriptive guidance. So from when it's done for you to peer approve it first, so maybe the change group will work on it. Then once the change group works on it and approves it as a change, then it goes up to the change advisory board to actually work on it. They actually confirm that the implementation steps are there, the test steps are there. They confirm that all the information that is required, they review it. So the whole essence about going through these systematic approaches to ensure that only beneficial changes are applied into your environment. That's the essence of all of these things on changes or on following through problem management or following through incident management. It's just to make sure, right, that there is a streamlined process, that your process is, you have high availability, you have service quality, that it's all available there. That's the essence of doing all of these things. So the change demo really quickly. I know we are spent for time, but we are done already. I know we have 3 models of change that is available. For example, you could come in from the incident. Let's say we do the incident one really quickly. Open that incident. I think we resolved that one. We're going to open that again, and then in there we'll create a normal change. We could do that. All right. This is the change. You could create it from an incident. You could create it from a problem. Same way. Like I think we did take a look before. We had one that was, we can open one of them. You can create a change from a problem too as well. You can create a change as well from there. So you can do the same on the change recording itself. Because if you do that on the incident, it will put that incident, it will put it on awaiting change. So creating a new one, it shows you the different models. Just in case you don't find any pinned, go to the models and pin it. Just pinning it just means you're putting these there. So let's say we wanted to only have new ones, normal ones show up, or if we wanted to have all 3 of them show up, just pin it. That's all it is. If you go to pin models, you'll see those there. That's all pinning does, just like you would for your filter navigator, right? You don't see it there, you have to pin it. So, just be mindful there. The models invoke the type of change that should be there, just as an FYI. Pre-approval are the standard change. You will see some that are there, for example, and then all will show you all the available models. So the standard, the emergency, the normal, they will all show up. Overview shows you the process utilization, like we talk about total emergency change, critical changes that are open, overdue changes and stuff. You see the CAB workbench, so change advisory board. We're going to create a new one really quickly. We're going to create a normal change. Now you can see the different categories, whether it's hardware, whether it's software, whether it's service. These are all the categories of changes that can be there. Defaults to normal, but you still have the emergency, you still have the change registration that can be used. IT mode 1, guidance. So, for example, we're going to go there, we put there that justification one, we just implication, just risk and impact back out. We just put something there, like you see the test plans. There is a schedule. Sometimes you would see the schedule, you would see something like a scheduled advisory to let you know. You can see it's a conflict. So for example, if you're scheduling today, if there's a conflict, maybe you have with a blackout or maintenance, it will let you know. The conflict will let you know. So I'm going to go fill this one out. I'll just save this one. So now I want to request an approval. So here it will tell me to walk me through so that way you see I need to put my change approval one, right? So already if you have, like in my case, if you have the change success score, you're able to actually track that, from the group using this. You would see the change success score. You can see whether it's 99% of the time or whatever, the excellent or high or medium. You can see that based on the change group, their frequency of completing changes, whether they're always used to rolling back stuff or not. But if not, you request the approval. That way, members of this group will get the approval information. So request the approval will go. Takes a couple of minutes. So assess. It goes through the assess stage, just like you saw that chevron right in problem record, the same way. Now the changes are waiting approval is in an assess stage. If you go all the way to the bottom, you will see the approval policy that is actually being run. You can see the approvals there. It goes through the change management team. So the change manager, and then we have the legendary Chuck Tomasi there. If you go take a look at the membership of that group, you see them there too. That's the only essence of it. Those are the group members, right? They have the required role or requisite role, the change manager role. The system lets you know, alerts you to what so for example, I could have impersonated Chuck, and then resolve that. But no, I just we are short for time. So go ahead, approve it. Takes a couple of minutes, right? Takes a couple of minutes. So I go update that one. If you go, it goes to authorized state. So now in authorized state, that same change is waiting for the CAB approval, change approval. You can see the applied policies there. There will be approval policies, which we would see here to set it up. All of these is approval engine. Based on risk, based on conditions. Based on conditions. So the same way I would just approve it really quickly, and you can see it allows you want to calculate the risk. You could do that too. It automatically to preset it using machine learning. If there was anything, it will adjust accordingly. But if not, just go approve it by anyone. You can even say, okay, 50% of the people must approve, or if it's not just one, just approve it very quickly. Now it goes to be scheduled. You can see there, implementing the change. Approval has been requested, approval has been gotten. Then going ahead to implement, Now it will start the information, the actual start will be there, but you can see the change tags. You have an implementation tax and a post-implementation tax to test, to verify. You go ahead and get those fixed. Right? You can get those fixed. So let's say, for example, in the three, we said we wanted to do software group like we did before. So, the software team, Bet, let's say Bet is going to do it. Let's go ahead, implement it for the customer or whatever. Successful. Let's do that. Close this task. So same way, software. So we'll do Bet, right? Successful. If there's a problem with the change, you do that too as well. Once it's implemented, now you can see the change goes to review. That's a normal change. That's a normal change. The change goes to review state. You can see it's closed. Right, the information is there. Here we put Chuck was the one that approved it. So now the information that is there, right? All of that has been provided. You can close out that change to tell you, right? Successful, no issues. Successful, no issues. All of this is just, if there was a hold on hold, you put them on hold reason, it would be there. But if not, no. Maybe they are investigating, whatever it is. If there was a conflict, the conflict will be set up here. It's not in office, but the conflict will be set up. But closing it is as simple as that. For the change. The change could be done where the change is an emergency change. An emergency change doesn't need all this approval, all the fact. Need ASAP. Just do that. Let me submit. Once it's an emergency system, it goes through a different, it boycotts, you see, it goes to authorize. So now if you go all the way to the bottom, you would see it goes to CAB straight because it's the emergency change. You can see it there, the change policy. You can preset it. There are approval policies there. You can preset it. Policy engine, you can preset it. After the fact, that's when, change manager, we go with choose change manager or whatever to oversee this change one because it's, and then I go ahead and just approve it. Save that one first because there was an initial save that needed to be done first. That's all. And then now you can go ahead and implement it. You can see it goes straight to schedule and then you implement. So it jumps the stage. It doesn't go through each one step by step. It jumps through. It jumps through and you get it fixed up. So, but the same way, the other one is really simple. Simple in the sense that one, which we'll do now, and then we go close it out. Look at this one. I think I'll just do that. Yeah, do that. I'll do that. Do that. Sorry, that. All right. The one about can see it goes straight to review for you to review the thing and close it out. So closing it out, you just say it worked, it was successful, it wasn't. You document that, whatever needs to be done. The same way, if, for example, you have a change that needs to be done where it is a standard change, like rebooting a Windows server, for example. Once you submit it, maybe you see it has all the information pre-filled. Whoever was submitting the request, the priority, the risk, the impact, a short description, a description, you see the planned information to implement it, step-by-step guidance. The blackout template tells me everything I need. Once I submit it, it's good to go. There's nothing that's needed. You go next to schedule straight away. You don't necessarily have to go to the rest of the steps. You don't necessarily have to go through the rest of the steps. You don't necessarily have to. Just schedule the thing. Just schedule. That's all it is. Jumps through the hoop, goes straight to schedule because it's repeatable all the time. Then they just implement right away. That's all it is. You can see those stacks, right? That's the beauty about it. There are different models to talk about the different changes that you can implement there. And then based off of that, you're going to resolve it accordingly based on the file. Based on the file. So just as an FYI idea, but the properties like we talked about before, I think that's the properties that we talked about before. These are the properties. You can have a standard change one, which would be you submit a proposal or a template that you wanted to make a change to. This is for standard change. So it will show you the different categories there, because it's part of your service catalog. You can see it. There are proposals there. You could take a read for the ones that are there. Maybe like you see this one, replacing a printer, toner, ink, or whatever for maybe a standard office space where you're doing strict printing. But you can also see the number. It has standard change, STD, then change, CHG. So templates that are there that have already been approved, that are in the system. You can see active is true. Right? So any open proposals will be here. It will be in progress, waiting for approval. Maybe it's an update to existing one. The change advisory board. That CAB board, there's a workbench you can use to manage your CAB meetings. You can see with the calendar, maybe is it once a month or twice a month, so the bi-weekly, if you will. You can use this to set that up and manage that. You also have the definition, maybe the CAB approval, whether it's for your network group, who's your CAB manager, how frequent it is, what's the location. A lot of times it will be online, right? It could be in person. Okay, how many meetings you have in this schedule or based on your calendar here, if you will. Notification, the lead time for that notification, agenda, the meeting times, and then how many items you have. You define that and your definition. You set that up, and then how many meetings. There's a schedule for these changes, like we talk about. There are quite a number of them that are there. You can look at them, whether it's a priority one. You can create those schedules. You can look at all the schedules that you have. You can create new schedules there for yourself as well. There's a blackout. Maybe here you're not able to do nothing until these actually elapse. You can create those there. If you create the entry, you have to create a schedule entry, meaning you have to create the logic that will drive whatever schedule you have here. So take this as a trigger. That's what that schedule entry is. You can tie it to time zone or no time zone is floating. You can tie it to whether CI or service or even a change request. All of this, it's on this. And then in your schedule entry, you can look at the different timers. You can say all day inclusive of the very day. You can say weekly based on repeat intervals. You see them there. It's timer. Tells you the types of blackout. If it's maintenance, it means you can tread softly. Tread softly, you make sure that you're deploying changes there. But you need to be careful when you do that. You need to be careful. So all of these are within that schedule. Then you said that you can put any filter using that filter condition. You can build them, whether it's location filters, whether department filter, whatever, change filter. There is the change approval, the approval policies that are there. There's the emergency, there's normal, so all of these can serve to help you when you build your own. So you can look at the different execution styles, whether it's first decision that matches or whether it's run all the decisions. Whatever decision it is would have inputs, so policy inputs based on maybe the change request. Then you would have the decisions there. Do you require CAB or don't require CAB? Or does it require all of the 3 levels of approval? So this is for emergency. You can see it requires CAB. So for example, we can take a look. We can see the one for normal one. And then in normal one, you can see all of that was stipulated. You can run them based on order. That is how they should run, in what order, which comes before which. The lower order takes precedence, but they're all listed. But based on your customer's requirements, that would determine how you configure or create these solutions for the customer. The change model drives that change. So we do have the emergency, normal, and standard based off of ITIL's guidance, but ServiceNow also provides a robust, what we call unauthorized change that is there. It's actually, for you to take a look and see if your business use case meets that. So for example, you can really control or be more granular with your change. So each one you can drive the model there, whether it's new, in progress, on hold, all of that. All of that. So in here, you can actually make it available for new or not. You can control it here. You can control it here. They're all active, but if you want it to show up in that page, that home page, yeah, you can control it here. There is also your risk condition, and then this is the change properties first. You can see whether you're copying the feature there, you're copying attachments, they're all here, change properties. There's a risk condition. You can see whether it shows up as that, calculate you whether you're using UI action or business rule or not. That related links, that's a UI action. The calculations are here. So those risk conditions that are here, you can see insufficient lead time. You can create orders based on your customer's use case. But these are all helpful to guide you. So there's also the config properties. You can take a look to show must have that IT role or change role. Remember, we talked about that before. And then you can also take a look, standard change properties. You can build that up based on the customer's ask. Whether it's your proposal for the standard change template or making modifications to the values on the change request form in itself. They're all there. Fields that you can restrict, fields you can make mandatory before they submit. Unauthorized change too as well. It has its own properties. You can enable event processing. Once you do that, which fields or which particular configuration items are part of or not. How many days do they need to ignore before they do that? It's a host of stuff. You would be the one. So there's also the there's also the change automated test one, which you would see ServiceNow covers over 31 tests. So build a unique test that is suiting your own business. ServiceNow has covered the basis. All right. So they'll have a couple of them there to help you. No matter the change it is, you would see that you have the opportunity to get going. And because ServiceNow has covered you, all you need to do is to look at the documentation, see what exactly is there to help you. So in a nutshell, right, we have quite a number of additional resources that are available to you. Whether it's the ServiceNow documentation, you have that developer.servicenow.com to go grab your sandbox, your personal development instance or personal design environment. You have the ServiceNow community, which each one is routing for you, community.servicenow.com. Once you have a PDI or you're signed up to the ServiceNow developer program, you already have the unique privilege of being a member of that community. You just need to join. So go to this community link and then accept, read through the terms and conditions, and then it should be in there. Go there, answer questions, go there, contribute your journey, and then continue to push the conversation forward. There's also the document side where even for seasoned developers, like if you go there, you would see even in the development instance, it shows guided setup to provide you step-by-step guidance. But it also shows you the getting started, which takes you to documentation for you to go read through first on whatever product or process area it is. So there's also a ServiceNow share site where you can look at other projects that are beneficial to you and then use them. Remember the SN util. There's a lot of other shortcuts or helpful that you can leverage. Google, powerful tool. AI is infested in everything that we have. So it's very important that you're not just going with the flow, right? But that you make out time to get involved and then see how this will benefit you, make your life easy. So ServiceNow University should be your go-to place. If you're looking for any type of resource, right? ServiceNow, yes, they don't put AI available to the PEI, but they provide you a ton of applications. You can go enable their plugins in there and then utilize and see how it works. Then they provide you on the ServiceNow University course-specific PDIs filled with whatever you're trying to learn, so that there is no way in this Jupyter world that you cannot go and leverage it and then use that to deliver for your projects. So go take it for a spin, be well aware, acquainted of that application and its components or its parts. So final tips, because we've done a lot, the demo, and we've talked a lot. But nothing beats for you to remember that practice. That personal development instance is up and running there, available for you. Go grab you one if you don't have one already. Take the certifications, it's important. Scrum Master, because Agile, right, is the delivery method of the now. And then Scrum is the most popular of the Agile methods. So knowledgeable of a Scrum Master is helpful for you. ITIL framework, the ITIL 4 certification is important that you know it because you know IT speak. You have the guidance that most software solutions, even ServiceNow, is built using that. Whether it's for service management, whether it's for operations management, whether it's for software solution or application development, they're all built using that framework. Within the ServiceNow base, there's a ton of micro certifications. Go grab you those, especially if you're still on the queue trying to get certified. The mainline certification to get foundational is the certified system administrator, that you have that. And then you can move on to getting the application developer if you want to take the development track. But if not, sure, you can take the ITSM fundamentals as well as the implementation. They are on-demand courses which are out there for free now in ServiceNow University. Yes, getting certified, we now need you to make that payment, $300 accordingly. And then for implementation ones, those are $450. But the course in itself used to be $500 each. So that discount is there to enable you to continue to grow and evolve within your ServiceNow journey. There are some free ones or freebies, a ton of them, whether it's completing the business process consultant course or obstacles to a business process consultant, which just means analyst. I will talk about there's process analyst, there's functional analyst, and there's technical. But what really matters is that you're able to come in there, soak that knowledge, and then be able to solve or provide value for the customers there too. Delivering the project, ServiceNow has done thousands of implementation or deployments. So they provide a playbook, or what we call that template or what we call that guidance. It's called the ServiceNow implementation methodology. It's called Now Create Now. So go there. There's a course, a 48 minutes course there or so. Go ahead and utilize that. See how ServiceNow delivers consistently with this. And then take a look. There's the guidance for the different roles that you have. You can filter for your role to see where you come in, how you fit in a project. Whether it encompasses project management role where you're delivering it as a project manager, but it also encompasses the tester role, the business analyst role, the product owner role, the administrator role, the architect role, all of the different personas that actually enable the project pick. So there's also a platform implementation showing you from end to end how the ServiceNow project is delivered, from a customer not having it, like I said, greenfield, to when they get it stood up and then start to continue to evolve, adding on different applications there as they go. Go take you a look. Go take you a look. It's very important. Do we have questions? Do we have concerns?
Please, if you have any questions, this will be a good time to ask them. Thank you. And thank you, Nnaemeka. That was a great one. Any questions, guys? Silence means you understand everything. Don't ask questions in the community. If you're silent now, don't go in there. Feel free to ask questions,
I've
please.
actually been laughing a lot too, because a lot of them are in the community and they're screaming off their head. See, guys.
Okay, we have a
What?
question. Nnaemeka.
Sure, go ahead.
Still trying
Please
to
go
digest.
ahead.
Done, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank for the
welcome.
whole class. It's not really a question, it's more like a realization.
Okay.
It's that this is actually like a whole lot. So I don't even know where to begin if I actually had questions. And I want to thank Nnaemeka for the presentations, because that's when I want to really go through, take my time to digest everything I got here, because this felt like a lot of information, and it really opened my eyes to like how deep ServiceNow is. And I want to say thank you again. So thank you.
Awesome stuff.
You're
Hey,
welcome.
that's really
Okay,
why we're
another
here.
hand. We have
Sure, go
two
ahead.
people. We have, okay, Michael Emmanuel, please. We have another hand. Okay.
Yeah, hello. Can I go on?
Sure,
Yes,
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go on, Emmanuel.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nnaemeka. Well, it was much to process and start asking the right questions at this point. I know we'll get the link to this recording and kind of digest it. So for me, it's like a sermon. So I just took some notes. So like when you're in the church, you leave those questions, you don't interject the preacher, right? So you go to Sunday school and ask the Sunday school teacher one or two questions. So one thing I find difficult to put into perspective is as you go in this processes or explanation, sorry, the personas as to what you were doing, who does what. Is it the CSA or the developer? That's where I kind of find it a little bit difficult to place who is doing what as you are doing those demos.
All right. Good question. I like that. So the personas change, right? It takes all sorts to make a world. You talked about that, right? The preacher is there. Then we have the Sunday school teacher who tries to come to explain it further. It's the same way. So, for example, as part of a software development team, we have the developer, we have the quality assurance engineer, we have the business process consultant or business analyst. We also have a lead analyst, depending on how big the team is. Anywhere from 5 to 11 individuals make that up. Your help desk technician, or you call service desk team or customer service team, depending on how you have it set up, that team could be, comprising several individuals. Some might be specialized skills or have specialized skills, if you will. They might have the supervisors. They may not have the customer service manager who actually, assigns them that role. In the same way, you saw that if you're creating the incident, for example, you don't necessarily need a role. You can, like when you're placing an order, you could check out as a guest. But if you want a tailored experience, right, or you belong to the organization, then you have the IT role, you have an access to the backend. So now the IT group or support group, so we start with the help desk. If they cannot resolve it, many people will be part of that. Maybe I see that you are free and you have the required skill set. I assign you that role. But you're supposed to go in there. Maybe you have a documentation, what we call maybe like knowledge-based article, or how to, so that you can leverage on that to resolve the customer's issue. If the service desk cannot resolve it because there are different personas there, maybe I, for one, I'm a business analyst. Maybe someone else is a QA person, and we are within the Scrum team. The business analyst gets the requirement. I listen to the customer, requirements engineering. I have template. I capture data. Developer goes to do the work, but I'm not going to do the work. I will test for the work because I have that testing capability. But there's a test engineer that has to do it. He's also an analyst, but it's part there too. Each one skill set is required. If you remember when we started this whole conversation, Nnaemeka took us through the ITIL framework to give us a guidance, right, for how IT speaks. But now we are getting into ServiceNow. ServiceNow provides you the different personas that make up the Scrum team. You could decide to be a specialist or help desk technician. That's there. You're using your people skill, your ability to research to be able to resolve. There's a persona track there. You could decide tomorrow that you want to be that business analyst or process consultant. Your people skills, your ability to research, your ability to look at the customer's user interface or user experience, and really have deep knowledge of that product. By having done it before, or look at that documentation research, read through it, try it out in a PDI, see how it is, so that way you can sell it better. You could wait that you're the tester. The tester is going to come in and do demos. Maybe they first test it, capture the image, make sure they go through the steps. But everyone's skill set is required in there. It might not be utilized in one go, but definitely as they go along, like we said, software development lifecycle, develop first, go to testing, with the QA first, then the UAT, before we go to the deployment, a go-live environment where you actually utilize that product. Each skill set is required. Yes, it might not be mandated, but they are required, and then they will be used when they need to be used within that bucket. But your role will determine what you see and what you get, right? If I didn't have the required role, I cannot, like as the system administrator managing this platform, I have access to the whole platform. But if I were maybe a platform user, for example, I'm limited to what I can do. Help-desk technician, you're limited to maybe only service desk application and then the self-service application and the ITIL application. But other than that, you don't see nothing else, right? You're limited to the application menu that you can have. So based on your skill set or based on your role or the responsibilities you have, that's why. So all of these things are all interrelated or interwoven, but your ability to really know that this is where I want to belong. So like we talk about getting the CSA is the foundation for how this platform works. You can maintain the platform. So you're able to do most of that because you're an administrator, right? So you know what to take, you know how to set up, the properties on there, you know how to troubleshoot, you need to know how to create roles or the groups, or you know how to do upgrades, or you know how to go research. The big foundational to doing anything on this platform, if you have that CSA, you're grounded, you can now, as a building block, step on. But for the most part, that's really what you need, to understand that if you're the business analyst, yours is about the requirements engineering part. But if you're that technical analyst, right, or the technical consultant, you're there to really know what the business analyst does, and then also go a step further to really configure and customize that platform. Yes, but that's really for the most part.
Thank you. We have another question from Emmanuel Nwoye.
Okay.
Emmanuel?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening. Okay. Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Mhm.
Good day. Yeah. So, thank you for the presentation. It was really thorough, although it was much, and like Mr. Michael said, we couldn't really like get everything at one go. And you've actually answered. The question I wanted to ask, it was regarding who gets what and how it really relates to other users or other personas and all that. So I wouldn't want to take much time. Just thank you for the presentation. Someone else can ask a question for now. I think we'll still
Okay.
go through it and then get follow-up questions. Thank you very much.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Emmanuel.
David, you're up next.
Thank you so much, Nnaemeka. God bless you for this session. This has been really great. So for me, I believe in knowledge, and I believe that things always make sense with time, because we don't have to understand everything on the get-go, on the first instance. It doesn't work like that. So this has been really nice. I just believe, because at first I didn't know anything about ServiceNow a couple of months ago, but right now I can say, okay, there is progress. I know a thing or two, the developers portal, the whole ITSM and all of that, ITL, like at least we can see that there is a progress, there's a shift from not knowing to this point. So also this whole change and all of that, the whole thing you just showed is really nice. And I believe that over time, it is something that would also stick. If you can, do it within these years, it's also possible for lots of people to also do it. And this is the process to that. So, so I just want to say, so basically the ideal concept would just be to stack up these skills, I would say, from what you've mentioned so far. We just need to stack up the skills, ITSM, ITO, and just stacking up skills necessary for a particular role. I think that's just the major thing I noticed, or I got. We just have to stack as much skills as we can, so it opens up more opportunities and more, modules or more applications, so that we can, yeah. So I just wanted to ask, system administrator, the CSE, certified system administrator, is that particular one, does it have things that it encompasses, or because I've been struggling, because I also am a developer. I build website webflow, and I try to figure out where I can come in all of this. I just want to know service now. I just want to know its core. I just want to know it.
Good.
Yeah. So it's a struggle to, okay, now I'm learning it. What should I focus on? Should I just go all in and learn everything, learn this, learn that, or should I just say, okay, it's all I want to go here. Let me just know, be good at this particular part. So yeah, there is also that conflict. Mine is more of a thing than yeah.
All right, good deal. So thank you for your question. But I believe that Tosin Nnaemeka and the team provided you with a roadmap, which is a guidance based on maybe the conversation. Like, I'm a certified trainer. I try to listen to everyone first, see where you're at, based on your strength, right? You have maybe engineering background, or maybe you have support background. There are different personas that make up our world, right? Everybody's not a doctor. Everybody's not an engineer. So, but you find your niche, you find your passion in there, and how you fit into doing that. So, if you want to read this Excel, which is what Nnaemeka then would have showed you, that roadmap, get your CSA first. So that's why we said start small, right? Start light, especially if you're doing, maybe your background has been maybe full stack or front end development or whatever. You would drive. Because everything has been built off like templates for you. So and having that knowledge. Yes, all of that is within ServiceNow, but they are masked. So you just need to know the components or its concepts and how to use it. So welcome to ServiceNow is the basic. You get you in, then you get to the CSA, you understand that. But not removing from that to, you have the fact that you have whether you want to be the system administrator. With the CSA one, you can now say, okay, I am a full stack developer. I want to go to development. The administrator is just a junior there, but they do the same thing. They do the same thing.
Okay.
So you can choose tomorrow that you want to be a platform owner, which is just senior business analyst. You can decide that that's the path you want.
Okay.
Right? But the point is, each one has a way to do it. Nnaemeka gave that list, right? They gave that list because the beauty is this. You might come in here and then it will look like it takes you through, right? Some of the courses at some point, maybe some of them might require you to make some sacrifice or some payment. You might ignore some of those for now, especially depending on where you're at your journey. But you would see the free ones like microsets that you can use to show knowledge in some particular areas there that are helpful. There, support specialist, for example, is there. Process analyst, for example, is there. Project manager or implementer, they're all here. And each one you select, they have different parts that you can use. But Nnaemeka must have listed them out to you to make it easy for you. There's also learning plans. There's a lot of resources, but they must have shown you a way to do it so that IT is all repeatable stuff. But if it's voluminous, you now need to, walk through it, baby steps, so that also it doesn't overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Right, because if you do that, it will really make sense. So, for example, if you follow through that part, you for sure get there, and then you might get there. Maybe if you say following the career journeys that way, some of them would say, okay, associate, for example, you might go through as you're going through the associate. It tells you, how much years and all that. Don't be discouraged. Okay, 7 to 10 years. You might have been in this ecosystem for longer than that, but it shows you what kind of like to do. So this is what you need to take. That's what you need to take. Just some of them, some content, so some, joining a local community, some things like that. You just go through it.
Yeah.
But so they would have broken that down and shown you kind of like, some of the things that they know that, okay, if you go through this way, that you get there. So
let me just add a few things. Thank you, Nnaemeka. So, Emmanuel, what you currently have is just people trying to simplify it for you. Because if you jump into ServiceNow without guidance, you're going to get tired of it. It's not what you're seeing right now. It's just the foundational level. You're not even getting straight into the implementation of ITSM yet. It's a different ballgame entirely. And we have different modules, different applications that nobody can know it all. Do you understand? So we're starting you with the preliminary. Yes, you're starting with welcome to ServiceNow. You're starting with, okay, the journey to CSA. We're taking you through some parts that if you were just to come in and go to the website, you're just going to go through all those courses and you're not really going to understand much. But now, if you now decide, okay, my path is developer, then you go from your CSA to your CAD, because before you can even take your CAD, you need to have your CSA. Okay. There is no certification that you can have in ServiceNow that you will not have to take your CSA first. So that is the prerequisite for all sets, which is where we are having this particular training program.
That's amazing.
Do you understand?
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We still have 3 more people on the queue for you, Nnaemeka. Okay, Elochukwu, please, quick, guys, please. We don't want to keep our teacher waiting. Thank you.
Drinking water, please.
Elochukwu.
Good evening.
Please drink some water. Thank you.
Keep hydrating.
Nnaemeka, refill your bottle,
Elochukwu.
please.
You're up
Thank
next.
you. Okay, thank you, Nnaemeka, for the presentation. It was awesome. All right, but I have a question that will help my understanding. During your presentation, when you were talking about the incident management, I saw you navigating from the incident module under self-service to incident module under service desk, then to incident application on its own. So what is the difference, and what am I supposed to assess one or the other? So that's my question.
Okay, great question, Ulu. So the incidents, right? Incident management is its own application, right? Self-service is someone without a role. They are not able to do much here, right? So for example, if you're, like we talk about, you're an internal user, all you need to do is you come in here, you put in your name, and then you put a short description, and then you're out. Because this is the self-service view. So, but an IT user is not going to come here and do it, because they need to see more than just these. So I could come in there and move it to the default view, and I see it how an IT user would see it, the service desk user would see it, or that way it will make sense, right? Because I need to see that if I want to get more details from that end user. Because now, for example, I'm able to see that, okay, self-service, like email, phone number, but because from the portal or from that end, they're not able to, it narrows it down. So that self-service one, if you go there, it's somebody that has pretty much a guest user. That's what you do. You don't have any prerequisite or assigned role. That's where you do that. So you just take it that you're taking it from the portal to get that experience. But service desks, like your customer service or like our MTN help desk technician, yes, they use the service desk application. They are going to be shuttling between here and here because they all do the same thing. This service desk one with incidents or the incident application in itself, they are the same thing. Because I can come in there. The only thing is, if we look at here and create new, right? Because I must be on a list. So maybe list of all open incidents, the same thing. But if I'm creating a new one, it's like I have that IT role. I can see the backend, open unresolved. Maybe I want to take a look, like I'm looking at the overview of the incidents and all that. I'm on the incidents. But the service desk, like it's a help desk technician, maybe they see my work, my group's work, they go do their task. Same thing, it's a new one. So this service desk one or the incident application in itself, they are similar. A help desk technician will see this, an IT user will see this other one. Yes. People that belong to the service desk group would see this. But they both do the same thing. Yeah, good question. Good question. I love it.
And I think one of the difference there is that service desk, they don't see the incident properties or the ETF.
No.
Those are for the admin, right? So, but they see every other thing that is needed for the incident here. But like there are some options there, like the properties, the ETF, that's for the admin, right? So the service desk ones. So I think that's just like the very little difference. So that would be the incident administration. So they are basically the same thing.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we have one more person. We had two, but one person dropped off. Okay, Priscilla. Priscilla, you're next. Please unmute. Priscilla. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, I was the one that was going to ask a question, but the last speaker asked. You just read my mind, so that's why I don't. Yeah.
Okay. So stay with us. Your hand is raised.
Yes, I am.
Okay. You have the floor.
Good.
Thank you, Nnaemeka, for the lecture. My question is, I want to understand the change management. What I got was that you can change the incident to a change management if you want to bypass the approval process. Am I correct?
No. Okay. So let's do it like this, right? Let's do this. So incidents. So see what happens is this, right? What happens is this. You can see, I logged in as somebody from the service desk. This is what they see, right? This is what they see. Maybe they are keeping track. But let's go down to your question. Incident, something is broken. It's happening to just you, Priscilla. So you log in an incident to report that. Sometimes when you report that, it might be user errors, something that you are causing yourself, right? So they're going to call you up maybe you just said, my laptop is bad. Oh, good. You submitted it maybe from the service desk or that self-service incident one. Now, the service desk manager is going to get that in their queue to be open unassigned. He's going to call his technician and say, okay, assign it to maybe like a service desk agent or maybe Beth, for example, who's part of service desk. Hey, reach out to Priscilla, get more details there. They're going to call you, right? And then now they're going to go ahead because you already logged the incident, right? You logged the information in. Now, they're going to call you and then get more details there. Okay, you said now it's my laptop. They start to inquire more. What's wrong with this laptop? I think it's having memory issues. For some reason, it's heating up the fan. They're getting the details there. They can now go ahead, say hardware, right? They categorize it. They put it in there. How have you been experiencing this? You can say maybe this has been happening intermittently or it's been happening for the longest. Okay, so they can categorize this and then prioritize it as well. So maybe priorities, maybe they put maybe priority 1 or whatever that it is, based on how urgent you need it. Because you can say, okay, I can't even work. You know how an issue can be blown up, just to make sure that it takes precedence. So what's going to happen here is now they're going to communicate that information, and then if they can resolve it by maybe ordering you a laptop, for example, like that's a request, they can close this out. That's incident, they can close it out. Maybe if maybe you're due to, maybe they need to just provide you a new laptop, retrieve the other one, maybe it's a loaner, whatever, that's fine. They just submit a request, send you the new laptop information, get your mailing address, and that's good there. But if not, sometimes it might be that they just need to increase your storage, for example, or maybe have to replace the fan, for example, or maybe they just need a software patch, for example. Then they are going to submit a request for change. Because, for example, the service desk has tried to check it out, right? They solicited the support of, or they escalated it to the network group or hardware group. The hardware has seen, based on maybe they looked through their documentation and seen maybe it has to do with recall or had to do with any of that kind of thing, right? They will submit a request for change. This will be a normal request. It will go through its approval. Then it's increase maybe the storage or maybe the fan. They need to call you into an office, for example, maybe call you into their walk-up experience center or Genius Bar or things like that, and just replace your fan while you wait. Whatever they need to do. But that's what a change will do. It means I'm replacing the hardware or I'm replacing the software, or I'm increasing the speed. That's where a change will come. I'm not replacing the incident for bycatting approval. No. These are two different processes. They're all tied together. So a change to something means I have diagnosed, I have seen that this needs to be replaced, a hardware or software or patch or router. That's when change will come in. And change has 3 different models or 3 different workflows or 3 different recommended ways to processing that change, whether it's your standard one where I don't need, or the approvals are pre-authorized, that's already there, built in, if you will, or you do the emergency change where if you don't get it today, I mean, you're going to go maybe pay a fine or something like that, or go out of business. Then they have to do it ASAP. Somebody can even send somebody to your house or whatever location that you say you are. So don't get it confused, right? You're not boycotting approval by jumping to change. No, it's its own process, but what it is or what it drives is to meet with a replacement of a hardware or software, or working through like deploying a software solution or implementing even a service now in itself. You go through a change management process. There must be a request for change. because it means I was doing something, it stopped working, or I was doing something this way, I want to do it in another way. That's what change comes in.
Okay.
But that's the whole point. They're two different processes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. The thing is, you're going to get the recording. Don't try to get everything all at once. Your role will determine what you get. Give yourself time. One thing is for their service now, university is your playground. Go ahead. There's a lot of AI courses there. There's a lot of ITSM courses there. There's a fundamentals which talks of the process. There's an implementation that talks of how to implement. So here you're looking at configuring and customizing. They're all there, baked in. Go and look at that. Your role will determine business analyst, the requirements engineer, you're listening, you're looking, using your people skills. Go in there, look at that fundamental, soak it up, soak it in. If you're a developer, if you're an administrator, go and look at the implementation, because the implementation believes you already have firm knowledge of that fundamentals part, which is those processes. Because only when you know the process can you make changes to that process, right? It's like when you're trying to do a process improvement, value stream map. You need to assess what is currently there. That's your customer understanding. Then you start talk about what vision they're trying to achieve, and then how the delta, that difference, is actually broken down into requirements or broken down into requests that need to be fleshed out or detailed with templates into user stories. And then you can look at it, put them in backlogs, and then deliver, work on them to completion. Yes. But for the most part, yeah, different processes, all integrated, entwined in together. Make sure, give yourself time, but try and practice as much as you can. Try and do that. And soak up as much content. Break that PDI or the implementation surface. Break it, fix it, release it, get a new one. Hey, get used to it. Because if you go to your workplace, the same interface you have as your PDI, your company is paying huge bucks to keep it running or to maintain it, for sure. So don't forget that. But don't forget that.
Thank you so much, Nnaemeka, and thank you for that question, Priscilla. Thank you. And thank you everyone who has made time to join us today. You've made it worthwhile. We want to appreciate you all. And our guy here, our city and our rising star, in case some of you are not aware, he was nominated as a Rising Star 2025 yesterday. So the claps, please. Congratulations once again, our city, like I always call him, is our own city, our community city. Now we own that city. So it's our own. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming each time and supporting the community. We really appreciate you every single time. Thank you, Nnaemeka. And everyone, thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining. Nnaemeka is
Mike, Emeka. Why should I be thanking you, Emeka?
go and sit down. Nnaemeka is
let me turn it off so that they will not catch me that I'm harassing you.
Nnaemeka is our community.